The one thing that is different for this generation, I think, than any other is there is an anxiety around climate change that is real, and that my generation, as much as there are and were kids who really worried about nuclear fallout, and you can ask MPs here who were kids of the 80s, they genuinely thought that the world could end at any moment. That is not a dissimilar feeling to what many young people feel about climate change. I had a conversation with a young person once who just burst into tears midway through talking about it. It is very real, and I don't trivialise it for a moment. There's good reason for that they feel that way, and we have to hold some responsibility for giving assurance that we are doing the right thing right now. The climate change debate at a global level and within New Zealand has moved quite rapidly in a reasonably short space of time. When I first came into politics, we had climate deniers all through our parliament. They set up a select committee to allow them to debate whether climate change was real. Now, I remember at the time being aghast that that was the case, but in my first public meeting as a candidate, I got booed for my views on climate change. Now, that is not the conversation anymore, and thank goodness for that. But now it needs to be about getting on with the transition. I think young people want to see us doing our bit right now. And what we're trying to do is build, the foundations for us to do the right thing forever. And just building that creates just a little bit of time. Having that independent climate commission, the Zero Carbon Act, creating a pricing mechanism for agriculture. These are all things that, while they take a little bit of work to get in place, once they are in place, that will serve us, well as a nation for, the next 30, 40, 50 years. We've got to show them, they've got to visually see that we are changing our modes of transportation, that we are becoming less reliant on those things that are damaging to our environment, that we are grasping the nettle on regenerative farming as a way to reduce down those negative inputs into agriculture. People have to see it. And that's when I think people will really see that we're making a change and a difference. Often I'll think about how will people look back on this period. That often gives you that bit of perspective, because sometimes doing the right thing at the right time is unpopular, and people will, criticise you for pushing too hard or going too fast. But we've constantly got to think about, when that next generation looks back on what we did, what will they think of us? And so that's probably a little bit of a frame I apply to myself and our decisions. Yeah.